So I would like to introduce June and Denise, who are the crazy ladies who decided to purchase this newspaper, and they're going to tell us why, and they're going to tell us how it's different and how they want to take it into a little bit of a different direction. And so I just also want to put a plug in for JAMP. We do a column in the Nikkei West every edition, basically. By the way, June, I have another one for you for for the next one, so I'll email that to you. So also please check it out and read our column, which is written by board members or myself or Caroline, my assistant. So, just to check in on what we are doing here at JAMP. But without further ado, I want to pass it off to Denise and June to tell us what went on in your minds. What made you want to do this?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us here. I'm June.
I'm
This is
Denise.
Denise, and we've been friends for quite a while, and we've been going through kind of the similar personal experiences with our families and parallel together. So it didn't really surprise me when I approached Denise about just the background on where I was thinking about the paper. So it came about where I knew the old owner, the ex-owner named Jeffrey Kimoto. Oh my gosh, Kimoto. And I just said, how can we get the younger generation involved? And he didn't really feel like there was an interest in the younger generation. So he talked about possibly selling or just quitting it altogether. And I said, oh, whoa, wait, let's wait. This is an important way to connect our subscribers who've been subscribers for, we'll be going into our 34th year of production. So we've had subscribers since it started, so maybe 30 years or so. And they rely on us for those connections to the Japanese American community, Northern California, because that's what we're focused on. And so I was just telling her about it. I said, well, I did tell Jeffrey, let me wait before you do anything. Maybe we can find some buyers around it. Because we remember it as younger kids were reading it as well. So I enjoyed it at my grandma's house. And her dad has suitcases full of them. So we know how it is important to our community. So when I approached her, before even finishing what I was saying, she's like, let's buy it. And so, yeah, it was kind of a spur of the moment. We have no publication background, no business background, no writing background, no layout background, no background. So honestly, yes, we bought it. We think we're a little crazy. We had to turn it into a nonprofit because as we purchased it, we did purchase it in the hole. So probably 5 figures in the hole. So we were paying out of pocket for printing and all that the first year. It was a little bit of of course, a little bit of a struggle. And so again, we turned it into a nonprofit, got a grant that helped out in that respect. But we're now heading into our second year into having the paper in our hands. We obtained some wonderful people. Brad, who's on in the screen there, he approached us at Nikkei Matsuri. That's Nikkei Matsuri Festival in San Jose. That's where we kind of announced, meet the new owners of Nikkei West. And so Brad came, told us a little bit about his background. He could fill us in, and started writing for us. And he focuses on, he makes these beautiful 1-pager, 2-pager, complete layouts of history. And his area is called Look Back in Time, which we really, really appreciate.
Before she goes on, we still have no paid help. So June and I, we don't pay ourselves. All our writers are all volunteers. And yeah, we have to figure this out probably, like how we could compensate our writers and maybe compensate ourselves a little. And we'll get that back into that later. But I just wanted to let you know, everybody that we talk about who help us, it's all volunteer.
Yeah, so it didn't come with a staff. The paper came with pretty much the name um, and the past issues. And and
Yeah.
a canopy, and that's about,
A
that's pretty,
tablecloth.
and a tablecloth. So we have tried to develop everything ourselves. And again, we had Brad approach us at the festival, and he is contributing hugely to that. We have Diana Narasaki Trujillo, who is also here today, and she has just volunteered to take a story or two, and now I feel really bad that I have to pretty much rely on her for, we have nothing coming up, and she'll whip out something, and she's amazing. She does research on the spot, and she's just an amazing writer. I can see her develop these last 2 years, and I can't believe she didn't have experience in this area. So we're very, very grateful for Brad and Diana and Jap, who is actually helping with our content. Because if we didn't have content, we wouldn't have the paper. So,
And we also have others here who can join us on the Zoom who do help contribute.
yeah.
And you'll see their articles monthly or even twice a month. So
Yeah, so we have another person who we are really trying to. Right now, the paper is very San Jose heavy because we are in San Jose, and that's where we're getting our stories from. So we would really like to branch out. We do have a gentleman named Jim Tabucci, who is Sacramento area, and we try to find news in various areas. I mean, honestly, what we don't want to rely on press releases, which we do get, but that's going to go in every mainstream newspaper, and we want to be unique to our subscribers. And with that, we are trying to focus on not earth-shattering news, but the simple things, artists and the young generation. That's what we really want to rope in, the younger generation. I have somebody that I'm going to be talking to on Friday, and I'm excited because she really wants to join our team, and she is the younger generation. Yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that.
well, Jake is on here.
Jake, my son, is on here. He's a younger generation, and he's involved in kind of highlight or keeping and preserving history for the internment camps, incarceration camps. My dad was in Heart Mountain. Denise also has family who's been. So we are connected in various ways and want to highlight in various ways as well. So we want to be a well-rounded paper, but we're still trying to figure out how to get contributors, because right now they could only be volunteers, and that's a little bit harder. But I think if people see our mission and our goals, I think we're going the right direction. We're pretty proud where we are right now, but again, we still have a little shaping to do, and yeah, so.
So I'm wondering if I don't know if if you can do this in the chat, Denise, but do you want to put what email address that people could submit articles to if they feel so inclined? And I know typically when we submit, I try to keep mine around 500 words, and I try to give you guys like at least 3 photographs for you to choose from with the photo credits. Is there anything else that you want people that you would like to have them include if for any story submissions?
You know, for the younger generation, because a lot of our readers are probably, I'd say, in their 70s, 80s, I like our readers, or a younger generation, if they're highlighted in an article, such as we have one called Today's Japanese American. We have one that's called Growing Up Japanese American Hapa. And those tend to be the younger generation. And we try to include their grandparents' name, because it's great when we have a reader who can connect and, oh, I knew that person. It just makes them feel more connected to the paper, I guess, and something relevant to that generation. I feel like it makes them just happy about that. Yeah, they enjoy it, reading it more. We try to keep on the positive. Um, Again, that's another one of our goals. I want people to be able to close the paper and walk away happy. It sounds kind of weird, but that's what I do. You know, and just even quirky details, photos that you find. If you find an artifact in your mother's household that's been buried forever, and it has a nice story to go with it. Recipes that has a personal story. Is this something that was handed down to generations, or those are the things that we want to keep people connected in a way with a personal story. So yeah.
And I know I've told you all this before, but my aunt has purchased two subscriptions, one for um, each of her older cousins, who one of them is 99, I think, and the other one is, I think, 97. And they enjoy reading it because I think that um, I think that does make them happy to just read about things that are going on in the community, not necessarily, hard hitting, depressing, political news, but just like you said, human interest stories. So I think that, it would be great if there are younger people out there, or if anybody knows younger folks out there who might want to contribute an article or something. It's really something that will probably reach your elders, so maybe it's a way to also show elders that what the young people are doing in the community.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Diana, she wrote about, you want to tell a little story about, since we met her, Diana, and introduce yourself as, when we went, the Monterey one?
Oh, the Monterey story.
Yeah.
It just started out as where could we go that wasn't San Jose, and so we took a trip down to the Monterey JACL hall, which you have to make an appointment and speak to the curator at the time, but he's happy to show us around. And then we wrote an article about the history of Monterey JCL and Japantown as it used to be, how large it was. And then he said, oh, we have a upcoming event later this year about the 100th anniversary of when the Prince and Princess of Japan came to visit, and to commemorate the 100th anniversary, they're hosting a bento style picnic later this month. And then June and I met a young lady who, it was she and her mom.
Yeah, so she works for Dent. She just got a job with Densho a month ago. So, and she has a little story to connect with what Diana wrote about.
Right. And then I guess she and her mom were looking at that article, looking over that story, and they said that her grandfather had or great grandfather had was it not dry cleaner, what was it? A business in Japantown. So their family was there back in the day when it basically was being founded. And so we have a photo actually of the families from the Salinas, Monterey, Watsonville area in this photo with the Prince and Princess. So she's eager to take a look at the photo, see if one of her family members is in that old photo. It's kind of a cute story.
It is. And you also included a map of what was Japantown in Monterey. And so they thought, oh, maybe that business was right here. So they had a really good time trying to figure out, and figure out that in their family history. So it brought this conversation with the family about that particular piece of history that Diana just found and went to go explore a little bit more. And so those are the things that kind of make us continue to believe that we're on the right track and want us to continue to do this project. I mean, initially it was, we have to save it in order for this generation, and with not having our experience, we didn't know if we could pull it off. But as we grow and continue this and continue learning and hearing from our subscribers what was important to them and how they enjoyed it and how they thank us for continuing that, I think that encourages us to continue to
Keep going.
yeah, keep going. Thanks. Yeah. Brad, do you want to introduce what you do in your section? Thanks, Diana.
Sure. I do the look back in time, whatever you want to call it. My background, I'm a former newspaper photographer. My degrees are in photography and photojournalism. And then after that, I started freelancing about 30 something years ago. So, and then I was doing a lot of graphic design anyway. So the opportunity at the Nikkei West is to take all of that and be able to mush it together into something that you see that's hopefully attractive. Um, and it's one of the great things about working for the paper is I have full control over every single thing. Photographers generally don't get that. Today, especially, you shoot the assignment, you Wi-Fi it into the office, and they pick the photographs, and you have no idea what's going to happen or not. In this case, I get to control every aspect, which is, don't tell anybody, but it's kind of nice. Yeah. So
Well,
that's one of the
good.
things I like to do.
She can't do all the brain work. So when you submit that, it's perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Drag and drop. That's all I have to do. Drag and drop.
yeah, it's very convenient for June. So what's convenient for her works for me too.
It's very appreciated. Thank you.
That's a great opportunity. I don't know how many subscribers we have, but for me, it means the material that I would have generated anyway reaches however many people it reaches. And I could post the same thing on Den Show or wherever it is, but somebody's got to go find it that way. In this case, it goes out, and that's a pretty nice thing.
How many subscribers do we have?
Over 600.
So we have over 600, actually, the paper. And then we recently started digital,
Yeah.
which is, I think we'll probably get a little bit more in that way.
We have about 100 on our digital subscriber list. So, and then, we're trying to figure out the whole pricing too, since online or digital copies, don't cost us anything. But, we wanted to try to figure that out too, as we figure out the whole business model.
Yeah, we're losing money actually with the paper. We did increase it $10. It used to be 45. We increased it to 55, and we didn't want to. Some people say, "Oh, you can, charge this for it. They'll pay for it," but we just didn't want to shock our longtime readers. So we're just slowly trying to work things out, and
since we did raise it to $55, we're still short because it costs us about $56 a year, for the one person to get it mailed to them twice a month. U.S. mail, and those prices, as you know, they keep rising, and then the printing costs keep rising. So, someday maybe we'll break even, but we're still kind of not breaking even.
Yeah. So yeah.
But you're a 501c3, so you are able to take donations if people would like to just help you out with that, right?
Good point. We do take. We started with a GoFundMe when we first started, and then we shut that down because GoFundMe takes a portion, and it just doesn't seem like that was something that. It was nice if we got a handful, but now through our renewals, we do have that as an option where people can donate. And then we've applied for a couple grants, and we got to get better at that. Maybe get a grant writer down the line. But again, most of the stuff is run on just a handful of people. It's not a huge staff. And we do want to continue it going. So I think we need to kind of hone in on trying to get more volunteers for now. And hopefully one day we can start paying people. But for now, we're surviving.
Well, also, June, I wanted to, I wonder if you and Denise would both explain your connections within the community. Obviously, June, you're very connected with San Jose, Japantown, and your parents both lived there before they passed. And Denise, Denise and I met because she was on the planning committee for the Jerome Road pilgrimage, not this last one, but the one before. So I'm just wondering if you could kind of just tell us what your connections are to the community, and probably specifically the Northern California community too.
Okay. Well, for me, Japantown, I didn't do the Obon. My mom came from Japan. My dad lived in San Jose, and that's where he continued to live after camp. but I think it mostly started maybe when my son started to go to Lotus Preschool, which is in San Jose, Japantown. And I think that's where I met most of my bigger connections. Same with a medical laboratory that Yoshichita owned. And I think that is where I really delve into the Japanese community. I've been part of the Nikkei Matsuri board for over 10 years. I worked at 4 different establishments in San Jose, Japantown. I worked at Lotus Preschool. I worked at a restaurant called Kazu's, which was Fudusato's before, Nikkei Traditions, and God, my brain, I can't think of right now, but just, and then also a lot of events, fundraisers. I try to be involved in different places where you could, God, I can't even like.
If anyone asks her to do something around Japantown, she just cannot say no. So she has had her hand in like everybody's committee. Yeah, can't say no, which is good. And then when she says yes, then I'm kind of like, okay, let me go help.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I need to focus more. I need to let go of some of that and focus more on the paper, because there's definitely a need for that. We want to do social media. I think that will get us more traction for sure. That was something we were a little bit worried about first, because we need to get our foot on how we're going to shape the paper. And I think we're in a good spot. So next year is when I'll probably start social media, and we'll get the younger generation to help us there too, because that's their jam. That's not my jam.
And by younger generation, I'm assuming you're referring to Jake, right, Jake?
Well,
Hello.
he fell asleep.
He passed out. He passed out. He was like, "No, I'm not doing this."
Yeah, my son's on here somewhere. He's blank, but
I've respectfully given up on trying to find my webcam.
That's okay.
I think it's at home.
That's okay.
So I was born and raised in San Jose. I grew up. My parents were, or still are, Mountain View Buddhist Temple members. So I kind of grew up doing everything Mountain View, Tri-City, and things like that. But once I started, having a family and my kids got involved, we live in San Jose. So, started off at Lotus Preschool. And then with my kids' activities, I just got involved with every organization, they were in, like CYS. So then I was on the CYS board, Zebras, basketball league. So then I was on the Zebra board, Suzume no Gakko, the summer kids school program. So we were on the board for that. Just whatever the kids were involved with, I was involved with. What got me more connected though with the San Jose community was, my parents were on the board at the Japanese American Museum in San Jose for many, many, many years. And I saw their passion at the museum. I think my kids actually spent more time at the museum because my parents were my babysitters. So they would drag my kids along, and they would just be there all the time. I'd pick them up from the museum, I think. And I saw all the things that they did for the museum, and I met all of their friends and all the volunteers there. And then eventually I took a job with them, and I found out just more about the museum. And and then I think I just got more connected with the history, and the history that is going to be not forgotten, but like not being told from firsthand. Like my dad was a docent, and like hearing him do all the tours around the museum, I'm like, oh my God, and then, my dad would just say, I live this, I'm living proof, or, I'm living legend, or whatever he would say. Be like, oh, this is great. And like, I want everybody, to know about this. And, he's doing tours with groups of children who just never, ever heard of this. So,
I
Well,
think
what we're
that's
doing
where,
with the
yeah.
paper.
I think that's kind of like what again, we've turned a little bit not a little bit, a lot of that passionate, learning about what our parents went through and seeing proof of that and learning more and more about it. It's getting us kind of excited to learn about the history, and we want to keep educating and keeping those stories out there that, like she said, it's not out there in schools, and we want to help with that and be an avenue to tell those stories and help preserve it. That's why we wanted to go digital, because again, it's these words. I don't know if it's true, a real word, but I want it to be Googleable so people can Google and know. What is it?
Searchable.
Searchable. I call it Googleable. I don't know.
Online search.
Anyways, so that's another part.
Maybe Google will now sponsor us because we said Google.
I don't know. If you pronounce it that way, I don't know if they'd want to.
Because within the paper, we try to stay on the lines in the kind of border Northern California, Japanese American. So in a sense, incarceration camps happen elsewhere, but that is something that we definitely want to have focused in probably every issue as possible. A lot of Brad's news covers that as well. So that's very important to us. So I think that's, as taking this over, it was a challenge, and we thought, okay, we'll hold on to it until, this generation is, we can't. But now we're more motivated to keep it going and try to expand and just, again,
keep educating.
Educating, connecting, bringing in the younger generation, showing them how important it is to be involved with your background, your heritage, and
not just Japanese Americans. I mean, we do have subscribers who are not, which I love, because they do want to learn. They do want to learn, what happened, to the Japanese Americans, and I think it's great, that, because a lot of people don't know, and it's always shocking, probably to all of us right here, that people don't know, but they might not have grown up in California. They might not have had neighbors or, friends who were JAs. So I love that they do want to learn, and they're learning through us.
Well, it's interesting because you guys, I don't know, you probably don't realize this, but there's this trend that I've been seeing with Sansei purchasing legacy businesses. I saw it's happened a couple of times down in Little Tokyo, right, David? That's how, yeah. And so you guys are doing this here too. So it is almost like that, your generation is trying to keep these businesses going because you remember them from your childhood and you don't want them to just disappear. So this is actually a trend.
Well, it's funny because we just went to a screening of the Scott Fujita movie, and the football player who's the documentary, about his father who was in incarceration camp, and he adopted somebody who was Caucasian, over 6 foot, and it was revolving around that. And we went to this screening and we were chatting with somebody, and they said, that's crazy to take over a print paper. We never really thought about it that way, but as the time that we were taking it over, 2 Hawaiian newspapers went under, right? I think LA also was having issues. Yeah. So it is a kind of crazy challenge. But it's working, and we don't need to be super popular. I mean, our little pool of subscribers, if
we get a lot of positive feedback,
and that's what
we love hearing. Just a little note, like in your renewal, like keep up the great work, or you know, some people will just be like, love the article about, you know, so and so and things like that. So
Yeah, that keeps
all
us
those
going.
little things are like, okay,
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. We feel it internally as well. And it is scary when I get to a deadline and we don't have much. But again, we have a great pool of people who
yeah.
will
So
help
she
us.
calls
So.
Brad and Diana.
Now then I call Diane.
Kimiko has even saved me
Yeah.
at one point, but it again doesn't have to be earth shattering. 100th birthday coming up, a little bit about somebody who's turned, that's huge. That is huge, turning 100. And so I think we need to have people realize that your news is important news. Again, it doesn't have to, they don't have to have invented something to be newsworthy to us, to our paper. We
Right.
want to focus on, for instance, one that Diana wrote about a gentleman who does traditional Japanese art here, that kintsugi, right? That turned out a beautiful article. It had a lot of connection and it was very heartwarming. And it was one of the favorites. We still get comments on that and appreciation that somebody here is actually taking on a traditional Japanese art and bringing it to America to share. So again, yeah, news. It doesn't have to be news breaking to turn in some sweet little article.
Huh. So I wanted to pause here and say, does anybody have any questions for Brad or Diana or June or Denise or Jake, who is off camera? And I'm just going to keep teasing you about that, Jake, because it makes me happy. But does anybody have any questions? Don't be shy.
Or any
Well,
comments.
Or any
Something that
comments.
if you liked something in
or
the paper.
what would you
or,
like to see?
Yeah, what would you like to see? Gosh, what's happening?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm Leslie Shirakawa. I'm the better half of my brother, Brad Shirakawa.
We were wondering. Hello, how come we've never
Oh.
met you? Wait,
There's a reason why you
Well-
haven't met her.
what's that?
There's a reason why you haven't met her.
Oh,
Well, anyway, I've heard lots about both of you, and yeah, so I guess my question is, have you reached out? You know, I live in Fresno. That's where, you know, Brad and I grew up, and we grew up in, you know, both sides of our family were into farming. And I know it's, you know, free, you're not able to pay, but, you know, have you reached out to other JA communities to see if maybe someone would like to, um, and maybe have something from the past that they could add to the paper? I think there's lots of rich things that are going on here in, um, you know,
we
Fresno
try
and
to,
Central
like,
Valley.
yeah, as we meet people on word of mouth, like we haven't cold called anybody, you know, like out of the blue, but like, you know, like how I met Kimiko in Jerome and Roar. We met Jim Tabucci, you know, and that's like, oh, you know, he like knows a lot, and then he lives out of the area, and he actually has a lot of connections, you know, Sacramento area and even Stockton area. We haven't met somebody from Fresno, but like, you know, we hi.
Well,
Now we know.
well, and you know, Fresno, the Assembly Center was at, you know, the fairgrounds. So we've got, you know, this great exhibit monument, and then there's a museum at the fairgrounds. It's not just for, you know, the internment but it's about the Japanese in the community, and then there's the Armenians and the Italians, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so, you know, there are things going on here, that I think people still, you know, have connections
Yeah, I
in
think with
other
us, the hard part is we do have jobs. We do have part-time jobs as well. And the reaching out, we need connections. So we do go to different, such as the screening. We try to go to um, events that have a lot of Japanese Americans, and we reach out that way. We like to personally, if you read our articles, the majority of them we've actually met the people in person, and that's what we pride on. We do make those connections, and so those are the ways that we try to connect. And we do hunt for people who are in the different areas to try to make those connections for us, because like I said, we're a very, very small crew. And I think social media might be the ticket to that. I tell you, half my stories I get from stalking Facebook. I'll see a little blurb about somebody's, in fact, 100-year birthday party at the bowling alley. Reached out to the daughter, and ended up with this amazing story about her background. Somebody who was a JA pro bowler, and she's actually turning 101 this week, Thursday. And we go and visit her a couple times. We've been over her house, and it's kind of like those just kind of coming on to, we just kind of organically, exactly. We have run into stories versus go seek them out, because people are saying, reach out to this high school's group, or we only have so many hands. So I feel like social media will really help us in that respect. But again, if you're Fresno and if you have some story ideas wanting to send us your way, or our way, we would really appreciate that. A lot of our stories are turned in by people who are directly related to the story. We have authors of children's books. They write their own article. So again, we aren't writers. We will write some stories, but we ask the people who are the subject of the story to write their own, and they're fine with it. And to me, I think it's an easier read than something super journalistic. Nothing to put down super journalistic, but I think it's an easier read. I call it glorified Facebook posts, but yeah. But no, thank you. If,
Yeah,
again,
it's nice to meet you, Brad's sister.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I'll when Brad comes home for Thanksgiving, I'll talk with him about
Yeah.
ideas and
Give his
'cause
marching
I-
orders.
what?
I'll be given my marching orders. Is that it?
Well, I just think that, hearing that, what kinds of things you want. And I think that even speaking to our local JCL and I'm part of the United Japanese Christian Church, but also through the Fresno Betsuin, temple. They do a lot of things, and maybe there'll be some people there, and there's there is stuff going on in Fresno. It's just not somewhere you go through, gone to Yosemite, but
well, and I mean, maybe we can have a flyer that will go, you can put it in your newsletter. So we need those connections. I mean, I've always wanted to reach out to different organizations and say, can you put this in your newsletter? But again, that takes time, right? That takes time and organization. Right. So hopefully we'll get there.
Right. And it takes like one person, like I had a connection with Sacramento and their Obon, and it's just like they highlighted their one booth of manju type of goodies, and we got an article out of that, and like a picture, and that just highlighted their Obon also. But we had some back history about why they decided to do that, and all the people from 30 years ago who decided to do that booth. And that was interesting. And like Fresno too, I'm sure there's some great stories that go back 50, 60 years of some legacy, some history,
or personal.
And it's personal.
We did have
to be religiously
we did have 2 Fresno stories, just to say we haven't forgotten you, Fresno. We did have 2 of them.
Yeah, we go on little field trips here and there to little businesses. That's, again, we try to connect with people and get some sweet chocolate out of it.
And just like how we connected with Kimiko and her organization, I connected with Amanda Kim with the Concha project, the farming projects. and you know, they're out of funding. So I'm like, well, and they want to keep going, you know, with their projects and their research. I'm like, okay, you know, send it
We
to
can help
me,
you out
send
at
it to
least.
us. Yeah, so we could still, you know, get things out, you know, to, you know, through our avenues.
Yeah. So it's not just articles, it's also helping out other organizations who need the press. We don't realize that we're actual press, you know, where we could use that as a vehicle for others to help with their marketing ways. And that's what I do for businesses. I said, this is free marketing. Send in an article, send some pictures, and we can run it. They don't realize that they're interesting. So yeah, it's another thing to try to encourage people.
And another thing that does help is not to get into a darker thing, but obituaries.
Yeah, no, my
okay.
dad opens that right away, and he reads it right away.
Yeah.
He might not read anything else for a few months, but he goes through the obituaries
I
and then
tell you,
puts it
yeah.
down.
Probably 80% of our readers, the first thing they say when they meet us, love the obituaries. They really do. And she does a great job on trying to find some if people don't turn them in. And it's expensive to do an obituary. When I tried to do my dad's, it turned out to be $2,000 when I put in what I wanted. This is out of a bigger paper, but ours is no word limit because we want to be able for our readers to be able to honor their loved ones. And it's a way to honor them, really, not just tell their background or what they're from, but we want it to be a way to honor them. Also, we have something called a living legacy tribute, which Jim wrote about. Jim tried it out with his mom, wrote about her background. She's still alive, and she enjoyed that. She got to read about herself, and it causes that kind of that effect where people reached out to her and said, I saw you in the paper. It just creates more joy. And so that's what we're all about. That's another article that we're trying to encourage as well. Write about the people while they're alive. They can enjoy being in the paper. They could have those conversations with people who reach out to them and say, I saw you in the paper. I didn't know this about you. Or, you know, because a lot of times when I read the obituary, I wish I knew them. Because there's some with some kind of cool stories. So yeah, so our obituaries are only $75, free color picture. Usually you have to pay for that, and a no word limit. So yeah.
And also back to just the paper and the layout, it's noticeably, I feel, more clear and legible because June changed the layout, the columns. No, yeah. So we do get
it's a
comments
little bigger
about that.
font, bigger font, which someone actually said,
No,
I can read it now.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, it just seems more clear. It's a lot more legible. You know, and we can't help the print. We can't help what the press does with like
Smearing
some
the
of it. Yeah,
pictures or all
some things
that.
are smeared or some are a little.
Well, and that's when you can
blurry.
get, that's when you can get the digital copy, if that's easier. Digital copy is really pretty. But a lot of people like paper, which we're happy to hear about. So again, we're happy to continue this, but we just need some help on content to keep it going.
I'd just like to interject again.
Yeah, no,
because our both our church and the Buddhist temple. Well, and I know I talked to Brad about this as well, and I think all churches nowadays, you know, their congregations are getting smaller, and the youth are, you know, not very involved. So I mean, digital and just trying to speak to them more. And I went to the Jerome Rower pilgrimage last year because that's where our mother was. You know, she and her family were interned, and that was a phenomenal experience. But I'm finding that so many of the Yonsei, Gosei, you know, they don't really know what's going on. You know, our parents didn't talk about it. You know, I learned it from going to summer camp with all Asians, and then, other things going on. And so I think there's a disconnect. And I think, your newspaper covering those things are so important, especially for the younger generation. So I like the fact that are talking about, speaking to the youth, and getting more information about what's going on with the youth, because I think that may, and I don't know, because I'm not a youth anymore, but how do we bring in the younger generation so that these, our culture, or whatever, it's still handed down, or just maybe just knowledgeable. So many of them don't even know about the incarceration. So anyway,
Right.
just
You know
wanted to.
what? So I'm excited because I have somebody, a younger generation coming this Friday to talk with us about writing for the paper. But also on this, I think you just heard that my son Jake is he's been very involved. He got his history teacher to teach the curriculum. He was in a documentary this year at Heart Mountain, and so I'm really proud of his involvement because I think it really encourages others to find out how, about this too. I think he can be a great avenue, as well as trying to get the younger generation involved, because he isn't a younger generation. He's interested, and so I think that will get other people interested. I think this is what I mean. So again, I think we can't lose hope, because I've seen seen the younger generation actually excited to learn, and because they're directly related to somebody who was in camp, that gets them more
Interested
yeah,
and want to talk about it too.
and want to learn.
Right.
So there's hope out there. We all have to do our part, I guess, and I hope that we are doing a good part in it. And that's one of our goals, is to bring that generation within us. So
I'll say in this meeting right now, you have at least 2 Gosei and 3 or 4 Yonsei.
Hmm.
So, we are involved, but
yes,
it's a great to have a platform, and so everybody here should go and talk to their younger relatives and encourage them to. I just wondered, have you ever considered, if somebody wanted to write a poem or something, or a short story, would you all publish that type of thing as well?
of course, of course. Actually, you know what? You just sparked a memory, because I need that. I just asked a girlfriend who is she's with YBA. She's, what do you call them? Like
mentor, advisor.
Advisor for the YBA. And I asked her, can I maybe do a questionnaire of on the students that are involved at YBA? So she's open to that. So I'm in the process of developing some type of questionnaire and seeing how, if they would go out and talk to one of their family members and see if they could get a collaboration of stories within that group. And again, this is San Jose, so I'd hope that it might travel to other areas too. So it's in my brain. We're trying.
And we reached out, well, this last summer we had an intern through
Yeah, that's
the NCI program, Nikkei Community Internship, college students. So that was another, try to, for the college age kids, to just learn more about their community, the JA community. And then, I feel like she learned a lot.
Yeah, just excited.
Yeah, just about like, the articles that we asked her, to research and write on. And then we gave her the choice of like, well, if you really don't want to, because, this might not interest you. But she's like, well, I am a college student. I write a lot about things I don't want to. But she ended up really, really, enjoying it, and then really learning a lot about, well, that one subject. But, it was just through the summer, and, hopefully, I know she's really busy with school, just like Jake, but, sparked her interest, and, who knows what could happen after she graduates, and, maybe she'll want to get more involved.
Yeah, I think if you think about us at our age taking over and then going on and learning about other people and learning about the history, we actually really get excited about it.
Well, we're still learning.
Yeah,
There's some things
exactly.
I'm like, I don't know that.
So if you look at the younger generation and how much they still have time to learn all this, and with the materials they have, I'm not very tech savvy, but they can probably reach a lot more than us as far as research. So I mean, well, but we're excited, and hopefully that can bring that into that generation as well. I mean, that's my hope. I would think that they could get excited about something like learning about this.
They will.
Okay. We have hope. We're encouraged. Honestly, we're very, very encouraged. So, I mean, that was my first question before buying this paper. How can we get the younger generation involved? So, again, that's high on our list. And so, hopefully
I wonder too if you would want maybe parents talking about their kids, or maybe schools or gakko talking about their student, because I'm just thinking, because I'm an old enough Yonsei to know pre-internet days, and you can't really scrapbook a meme or a social media post, right? But if your kid wins an art contest in school, you can cut that out of a newspaper and scrapbook it somewhere. So maybe people are, need to think about even though you say it's on the internet, it's on there forever, but as you said, you have to scour for it, right? Like you said, Brad, like you're not going to sit there and dig for things, but in a newspaper, it's right there. And so that's also something people should think about.
It's funny because we do get requests for the actual paper. Oh, we'll send you a PDF if they were in the paper. Well, Diana has actually experienced this. They want the paper to be able to cut it out. It's different because you can get anything off the internet, really. So to have it on paper and print is special. So yeah, I mean, that's why we run something like, we encourage our Japanese American, the Hapa stories, growing up Japanese American Hapa, and we do highlight a lot of the youth, so then they could be in the paper, and it's another way to show it to other people and just start those conversations and to their friends. So we're trying different avenues, and we're looking for any other ideas, so we're open to that for sure. Why are you smiling, David? What's on your mind?
He's laughing at us.
He's happy that the Dodgers won.
What's up with you?
Oh, nothing. I just enjoy your conversations.
Okay.
Hey, since you're unmuted, David, do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions?
Yes.
Where do you publish your paper?
Mantika Publishing. We took it over from the old owner. We figured she knows what to do, and we just pay them. We haven't even researched if we should find somebody else. But
yeah. We send them a PDF. They do all our distributing.
Yeah, we send them the mailing list.
Yeah, they print it. They print the labels and they send it out. We don't have an office. Yeah, we don't have an office. We run out of home. So the address is not our office. Don't go try visiting us there. It's a P.O. box.
So the layout for the newspaper, you guys do that all yourselves and then just send the PDF to the printer, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes, I mean, it was hard at the beginning because, we didn't have any training.
No experience in design.
Yeah, and luckily.
Proper layout.
They were really nice. They would say, oh, send it back, like something's all black.
You have an error. But now I'm happy I don't get any errors, so I'm pretty proud of myself about that. But yeah, it's like a puzzle. And again, I've never had Brad's given me some pointers, but I don't have background on this. I just kind of put things where they fit, and If it looks good, I do it. I got kind of yelled at for not indenting paragraphs, but you know what? It's fine. So,
English stuff, I think.
what's that?
I think that's sort of old English you have to indent.
Gotcha. Yeah, it worked for me not doing it, and yeah, and no one's complained, not one person except somebody.
There's always
David, what
one
do
monku.
you enjoy reading about? Like what, if you open things up, do you look at the pictures and then read under the caption, or do you go to the obituaries, or what catches your eye?
Oh, is that for me?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're unmuted.
am I still muted?
No,
No.
Oh, I'm unmuted.
So we're making
Okay.
you talk.
You're on the hot seat when you're unmuted.
I usually look at the title of the article and the picture, and then if it interests me, then I'll go ahead and read the full article. Yeah, I do like those obituaries. That's very nice. I mean, that's the most I've seen in any JA newspaper.
Okay, we'll keep that going.
kind of not under our control, but we'll try.
Well, unfortunately, people will always be dying. So
Yeah. But I do love reading about them.
Yeah, there's some great written obits out there
Yeah.
that we're like, oh, yeah, yeah.
I find interesting in what camp they were, because probably 75% will be from a camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to me. But yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll keep that going for you.
Well, I know we're at an hour. Is there any other questions for our NikkeiWest folks?
Questions, I mean, anything, ideas, please, if after this you think about, oh, you know what, that would be great, please email us. I think Denise is gonna send the link on where our website, again, we're under a skeleton crew, so it changes periodically. It might look the same, so sorry about that, but again, we're trying to get a few more people on our crew to help us here and there.
Our volunteer crew.
Yeah. So yeah, think of anybody that would like, even a high school student or just college student, they could put this on their resume for future work. It will look good for them. So yeah, send anybody our way.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kimiko, for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. No, thank you all for being willing to talk during today. But we kind of unofficially have been having a lot of journalism things. We had a panel yesterday or the other day about Sei Fuji, who was an Issei journalist. And then on Thursday, we're doing a discussion with Rob Busher, who's going to talk about Pacific Citizen, and Kenji's going to talk about Nichibei, and JK Yamamoto is going to talk about Rafu Shinpo. So this is kind of like unofficially journalism and newspapers are kind of the
We're
secondary focus. Yeah, no, but it's good. It's good. It's good to think about. Well, thank you everybody for coming, and the video of this will be up on our website probably by tomorrow. So I will, we'll send out an email with the link to everybody so that you can blast it out to all of your friends and relatives who are dying to contribute money or article to NikkeiWest.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So thank
Have a
you all
great
for
holiday,
coming.
everybody.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.